I had to take a break for 3 weeks after watching this movie. Madam Web is a movie that I genuinely think Sony just hates this character's franchise. The worst part in this movie came out on my fucking birthday, by the way. This movie came out on my birthday. So I refused to watch it until 2 days after my birthday, and finally, I watched it. And oh my god, this movie is just literal spider shit. So, let's talk about it. Okay, this is going to be quick because there's nothing really good in this movie except this video, I guess. Madam Web was directed by S.J. Clarkson, who only made like a couple of TV shows. So, this is her first movie, and honestly, I'm really questioning Sony's choices. When she made this movie, she wanted to make a psychological thriller movie, and it really did not work. It really did not work. It doesn't help that S.J. Clarkson was inspired by other directors to make this movie, and one of them that she's mentioned is Christopher Nolan, the guy that made the Bomb Go Boom movie. The story for Madam Web is just bad, honestly. Half of the time I don't know what's going on, and I don't even remember the characters' names. So, I call them by the actors' names. All I can remember is that Dakota Johnson's character was born in Peru in a spider cave for some reason. One of the most weirdest scenes I've seen today. And she gained powers where she can see 5 minutes in the future, and that's pretty much it. These three girls are important in the plot for some reason as well. Oh yeah, let me tell you about the characters in this movie. Dakota Johnson has joined the party of good actor with shit writers. And honestly, it's just sad. It's really sad. Dakota Johnson's character just makes me quite pissy about this movie. And I hate the fact that she goes blind in the end of the movie. And you can clearly see they did it as a last minute thing. One thing I just don't get it is why we needed these three characters. I get why people watch this movie because of Sydney Sweeney, but holy shit, I would rather watch Euphoria than watch this movie again. Sydney Sweeney, Isabella Mercy, and Elliston O'Connor, good pronunciation to me, are really good actors, but oh my god, this movie is really not doing a good job of capturing these actors' skills, and these characters are just flat as hell in this movie, man. Everyone in this movie just speaks very bitchy, like, I don't know how to explain it, but if you watched it, if you watched Madam Web, seek help. But if you watched it, I think you get it. Another thing that Sony really likes is showing us something in the trailers that isn't in the movie. Because let me tell you, the scene where we see the three girls wearing the suits in the trailer, we only see it 3 minutes in the movie. And it's a flashback scene. Meaning, this entire movie, we don't see these girls get their powers nor wear this suit. And by the way, I don't know if people point this out, but I fucking hate these suits. The suit design's fine, but I don't like the mask because it doesn't look like a mask, dude. If you're a Spider-Man fan like me, you would have known why I hate these suits. They don't have the lenses. One of Spider-Man's most memorable things about his mask is the lenses. Legit, if you watch Across the Spider-Verse, everyone in that movie had lenses in their mask. So when I saw these suits, I got really, really mad, honestly. And then, of course, the only person that had lenses on the mask was the villain in this movie, who's, by the way, just god-awful. This dude's whole character is to kill these girls from killing him in the future. but he keeps getting ran over by Dakota Johnson twice and died from a Pepsi sign. Who the fuck wrote this movie? Oh yeah, I forgot one thing. Apparently Uncle Ben is in this movie, and Mary Parker, who's, by the way, Peter Parker's mom. And yes, this movie has Peter Parker, who, by the way, they didn't mention his name once. But I'm going to keep this in another section. So yeah, this movie's story and character are just fucking awful, honestly. So let's go to another section. Let's talk about the giant elephant in the room. Not you, Queso, but I love you. No. Anyways, remember how I told you about we see Peter Parker, but they don't mention his name once? So I did some digging into this movie, and apparently Dakota Johnson said that in an interview saying that when she signed on for the movie, the script was drastically changed. So I did more digging, and apparently Madam Web was supposed to be a start for the Spider-Verse for Sonyverse. Spider-Man and the main character for this multiverse thing is Andrew motherfucking Garfield. And they did some couple of reshoots and decided to change to Tom Holland Spider-Man. But they did some couple of reshoots again and finally decided to get rid of Spider-Man or Peter Parker related. So meaning we were supposed to see Andrew Garfield back in the Sonyverse. But they decided to scrap it entirely. So the scene where we get to meet Peter, we don't get to see his name or mention once because that was Sony's idea. By the way, I kept counting how many times they mentioned Peter Parker or Spider-Man, and I counted to 0. I swear to you, Sony just doesn't like this character. If you want more detail on this, please watch this video about like the full length of why Andrew was not in it and why they decided to make Tom, but that didn't work and they will just scrap entirely. Just watch this video because they explain it so much. So yeah, but holy shit, this movie's so bad. I'm never going to watch this movie ever again, man. This movie is not really a superhero movie, dog. It's just 4 girls running away from a evil Spider-Man who's not really good at his job. 1 out of 10. Please save us beyond the Spider-Verse.